Let's talk about what you can do to make sure your back gate gets shut almost every time when your lawn care provider comes to do the service, especially in the backyard. Now, we know this is important to you if you have a lawn care service because our customers have told us they're very concerned about making sure their back gate is shut for a couple of reasons. One type of customer wants to make sure that their property is protected from a security purpose, and that's very important. Other people have dogs. I have a dog. Oliver, come here. And we want to make sure our dog and our loved ones are taken care of. I love my dog just as much as you probably love your dog. They're a part of everyone's family and home. And if you're like my father, he does not agree with me on this because he grew up on the farm. And when he had dogs, they were only allowed in the house when it was below zero, in the basement, on a gunny sack. Now, if you don't know what a gunny sack is, we're going way back, but it's one of those burlap bags that holds potatoes. But the point being is that nowadays we love our dogs. Sometimes they sleep in our bed. My dad's throwing up right now in his mouth. But we love them, and we don't want them to get out of the backyard. So we need to make sure as lawn care providers, and you need to encourage your lawn care provider to make sure that gate gets shut 100% of the time because you don't want to take the risk of your dog getting out of the backyard. Why doesn't the gate get shut? Well, the main reason why the gate doesn't get shut is because we're human beings, and the lawn tech forgets to shut the gate. They're doing 3 things at once. They're pulling the hose. They're remembering where the weeds are in the backyard so they can go back and spray them. They're thinking of all these things. They could be thinking about the fight they just had with their girlfriend the night before. They got so much going in their mind that sometimes shutting the gate is not a priority, but it should be. We always tease our techs when we train them and ask them, why I say we tease them is because we ask them, what's the one most important thing, the most important thing that you should do at a customer's house during the stop? And that is, for us, make sure that gate is shut. We always tease and say, I don't care if you don't do anything else, make sure you shut that gate. It's that important. We know you don't want that dog to get out, and we know it's important for you as a customer to make sure that gate's shut. And again, human beings are going to forget. They make mistakes. I'll give you an example. Just last week, my wife, who's college educated, left the house with the toaster oven on. She happened to leave before me, so I caught that it was on. But, I mean, I turned it off and there was no problem. It could have burned down the house, could have caused a fire, could have caused a whole bunch of trouble. But again, she forgot. So humans forget. So how can we be sure that our lawn tech never forgets to shut the gate? Here's the tip. Now, this tip is not going to blow your mind. It's very simple, and you're going to say, I could have thought of that on my own, John, but we know from our data that this works, and that is put a note on the gate. It sounds so simple, but for some reason, when they see a note, they remember and they actually do it. They follow the instructions. There was actually this study done at one time that said that if you give someone a note or even ask them to do something, but you give them a reason why you've done it, they're more likely to do it, especially if you give them the reason why. And so I recommend, you can write it on a piece of paper, on a little note, a sticky note, and tack it to the gate, staple it to the gate. In my example here, you can go ahead and print something up that says, please shut gate. I have a dog, thank you. And that's the reason I have a dog, because we know from data that if you give a reason, they're more likely to do it. And you might say, well, John, this piece of paper is going to get rained on during the day and it's not going to work and it's going to shrivel up and all those things. Well, you can put it in a plastic folder like this and solve your problem. This is a little dramatic. I know you may not do this type of thing, but you surely could. But another suggestion is to go to the local trophy shop and get a self-made sign that says, please shut the gate after every visitor. Please shut the gate, I have a dog. And drill it and screw it to the post or the gate with a couple of small screws. These tags cost $3 to $5, so they're cheap. And that's a small price to pay to ensure that your gate gets shut almost every single time. Now you might be saying to yourself, John, I don't know why I have to do this. I hire competent people to come do the yard, to come do the lawn, they should just remember to shut my gate. And you're exactly right. They should, and I can't agree with you more. But the reality is that it's not going to happen 100% of the time. They're human beings. They're going to forget. They're going to make mistakes. And for you, the customer, and for me, the supplier, that's too important to forget. I want to make sure that that gets done every single time. And a note or a sign will encourage them to do that, and it will most definitely happen if you do that. I mentioned that you may want your gate shut for security purposes, and the big one is pets. You may have a pet that you don't want to escape. And another thing is that wild animals. In our area here in Denver, Colorado, people don't like rabbits in their backyard, so they do a lot of things to mitigate all the holes in their yard to keep rabbits from going into their backyard. This is a big one, and they don't want that gate open and all those rabbits come in their backyard, maybe nest in their backyard and start chewing up their lawn. This is a big problem, so keeping wildlife out and rabbits out is a big deal also. Once a lawn care service does the service for the day, I would encourage you, again, you're going to say, John, I shouldn't have to do this. And you're right, you shouldn't have to do this, but you should do it because it's so important. Ronald Reagan once said, you need to trust but verify. So let me go back to what I was going to say is that when you get home, just make it a habit. Leave yourself a note on the kitchen table. Go back and make sure the side gate's shut. Because that way, you're just going to verify that if your dog is out or he's going to be out later on that night, that gate is shut. So trust but verify. I can tell you as a business owner, this is a very important phrase I have to do all the time. I trust people to do things, but I also need to verify that they get done. It's a great management technique, and it's a great technique to just make sure, again, that gate gets shut all the time. Most lawn care providers want their techs to shut the gate. It's not good for them to leave the gate open. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. It looks bad on them. They don't want this to happen. But the reality is that it does happen. But again, most lawn care companies do not do this on purpose. They just, again, the tech forgets. I don't know what else to say except the tech forgets. They don't mean to. They do care. A lot of times they really care about what they're doing. They just forget. So to conclude, what I'd like you to do if you want to make sure your gate gets shut is go ahead and put a sign on the gate. That's going to really, really help make sure that the gate gets shut. Number two, go back and check the gate in your backyard when you get home from work that day. Now, some other things you can do to make sure, especially if you have a pet in the backyard that you're worried about, some things we suggest to our customers if they can do. Not everybody can do this, but number one, can you take your dog to doggy daycare on the service day? That's a great possibility. Can you ask a neighbor if you could put your dog in their backyard for that day? A lot of customers do that for us. Or I know even some people, it sounds crazy, but in today's work age, they take their dog to work. In this day and age, a lot of people are working out of the house, so you can bring your dog in the house that day and leave it in there with you and then monitor them in the backyard when they go out and then bring them in when they're done doing what they do in the backyard, just to make sure that dog's not out there when the lawn tech's doing the service, or if the lawn tech leaves the gate open, they won't get out. So those are some other things that you can do on your lawn day to help keep that dog in your yard and to keep them from wandering away. Again, I cannot agree with you more. This should be done automatically. But I can tell you from being in the industry and talking to other companies across the nation that this is a huge problem for everybody. And we need to get better at teaching our techs to shut the gate. Like I said earlier, the techs need to know the number one most important thing. And in our company, the number one most important thing, you better shut that gate or you are in big, big, big trouble. We're going to have a full-on discussion about it, and we're going to go talk to that customer and make sure that they know that this is never, ever going to happen again, because it can't happen. It's too important. That gate has to be shut. So try those things. I hope this is helpful for you. And if you have any other questions you'd like me to answer regarding your lawn care provider, please let me know. Put them in the comments below. If you like these types of videos just give me a thumbs up. That helps tremendously to let me know that I'm on the right track for you. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm here to help you, all of you that have lawn care companies, that have problems with your lawn care companies, and things you can do to help you get better service from them. So thanks for watching. You guys have a green day, and we'll see you next time.